Hey dorks, just a quick message reminding you to head over to twitch.tv/mindgappodcast and give us a follow. We live stream when we record our new podcast episodes, and we're live streaming video game sessions on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're playing super rad stuff like Among Us, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Jackbox games, and Tabletop Simulator. Come hang out and play along with us. That's twitch.tv/mindgappodcast. Mind Gap Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I am Doug.
I'm Justin.
And Justin has a thought.
Well, no, I was just going to say I saved. Because the listeners don't know what that's in reference to, but if you're watching the Twitch stream, that would have made a little bit more. No? If we play that together, hold on. Wait, 5T. Here we go. It's almost one complete. It's 0.14 seconds.
Guys, we're back. We're back.
0.7 plus 0.7. 1.4. Is that 1.4?
Yeah, 1.4. That math checks out. If you guys,
we're back.
If you want to verify, just email us at mindgappodcast@gmail.com, verifying that 0.7 plus 0.7 is 1.4. Just confirm it for us. We'd appreciate it. It'd be great.
We need help.
The math is already hurting Justin. You're right, Jervis. It is. It's already affecting him.
New year, same Justin.
New
Still
year,
don't do math.
Same problems. Math.
Right.
It's still alive and it's still troublesome, to say the least.
That will never cease to be a problem for me.
Yeah.
Ever.
Nothing quite like it. But yes, we're back. We took a week off. We were like, you know what? Let's celebrate our holiday. Let's take a minute to breathe. Let's just take a minute. And it was nice. What did you do on your time off, Justin?
Oh man, nothing. I was wonderfully lazy and it was wonderful. It was everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we New Year's was great. We made tacos and homemade margaritas from scratch, like simple syrup and juiced all that. It was so good. And I had way too many margaritas, all the margaritas. Or did I have just the right amount? I don't know.
That's a question.
You be the judge. I was still able to talk, so I would say the right amount.
Hey.
But yeah, it was great. We played Uno, just the two of us. If you've never played two-person Uno, it's very fun.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
It is, right, because if you've got like Beth, she got me good on one hand because she had a reverse card, she had a skip card, then she had a draw 2 card, and then she had a wild draw 4 card. So she immediately ditched 4 cards, and I ended up picking up 6. That was crafty.
That's nice. That's good strategy right there.
Yes.
That's really well done. I respect it. Much respect.
What did you do?
During
Besides played too many video games.
I played a shitload of video games, and it was awesome, man. It was great. We played a lot of Left 4 Dead 2. We played some Overwatch. Pretty much almost every night was, hey, let's play a round of Left 4 Dead 2 so we can, get some people used to some of the maps. And then let's play some Overwatch. And we're getting Left 4 Dead crews together. We're getting Overwatch crews together. It's been a great time. It's been a lot of fun. We're gonna be playing some Fortnite with Jervis again.
Nice.
This Friday.
Like that he got you into that finally.
I wouldn't say I'm into it, but I play along with Jervis because he's a good sport and plays along with Left 4 Dead 2. And that's he's a real good sport. So Justin would be good at Overwatch. I mean, Justin's gonna try to find a way to play possibly some Team Fortress 2 with us. So, and if that tells any of his skill level with that, I mean,
is Overwatch through Steam?
It's through through Blizzard is what it's through.
So I cannot get it via Steam.
No.
Got it. Then I'm in trouble, guys. I can't do it.
Can't or won't.
Well, pick one. Tomato.
I mean, pick one, you piece of shit. You know?
I don't know. Maybe let's see. While we're talking here, Overwatch for Mac.
I mean, I know that does a thing, you know.
Overwatch on Mac, how to run it, and best alternatives. Nope, I'm out. I won't even entertain those articles anymore.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, I played a lot of games. I had a really good time, and it was very, very enjoyable. I was just telling Justin before, and I've told him this before, it's nice to have a crew of friends to play games with, because I don't think I've had this since freshman year of college. My freshman year of college, what we would do is we would all we'd go to foreign language class. We'd do a whole shitload of blow. We all had foreign language class at the same time. And then when we were done, most of my floor did, we would come back and I would boot up a local server of Counter-Strike, and we played 5-on-5 Counter-Strike. And it was the best fucking time ever. We'd do that. Yeah. We'd play until dinner time, and then we'd go down and eat dinner. And it was just the trash talking, the shit talking, which ultimately led into, at some point, we realized that other dorms were playing it, and it got into a dorm versus dorm
incredible
rivalry. And someone kept a stat sheet or a stat server, so I could see whose stats were what, and people got real competitive over it. It was really, really fun. And so I missed that. And then I haven't had that for many years. I would play with my brother off and on, or, you off and on and things like that. But to basically be like, hey, does anyone want to play a game? And people would be like, yeah. And before you know it, people are popping in, and it's just so much fun. It's been so enjoyable. And I want to thank our community. And I want to thank the people that are joining our Discord server for just being so cool, and for hanging out and playing games, man. It's been awesome. I've had an absolute blast. Everyone's been wonderful. It's been so good. I remember when my class would play a free budget game of Tron back in high school. Is that the arcade game? Because I remember the arcade game of Tron was very weird. It was very interesting. But so anyway, I'm happy to be back. I miss you, man. I haven't talked to you much because we've been on our breaks, and it's good to be back.
We did take a full break too. Typically, even throughout the week, we'll talk to each other and we'll go back and forth. But it was very much I think everyone was just yeah, we all just kind of need to take a breath. And I found myself excited because typically I'll come and I'll be I'm dog tired, and I gotta pump ourselves up to do the show. And once we're in it, it's fun. I came ready to play today. It was just that 1 week does so much for your mental health. It was so great. I agree. It was nice to kind of be when I wasn't thinking you mentioned it. You're like, why don't we take a week off? I was like, you know what? That actually sounds really good. Let's do it. Right. Let's take a breath, and we'll just be it's been really good. But speaking of the show, gang, yes, housekeeping stuff. Let's get to it. First things first, y'all know, you've heard us say it before. We'll say it again. You can follow us on Spotify, other places too. But in particular, check us out on Spotify. We exist there. You should listen there. Also, join our Discord server. We got a couple new folks that joined us over the weekend. So shout out to Duffs. Shout out to Master Blaster. Also, shout out to, I think, is it Zinny? She's amazing. I got to watch her play Fortnite with Jared. She's phenomenal. So welcome everyone for joining the server. If you want to join on our Twitch channel, there's a little Discord icon underneath the video player. Just click on that. There's a link to it. Also, if you're hanging out in the chat, our Discord bot or Nightbot will just drop you a link. Click on that, join it, come hang out with us. We play games. If it doesn't silence you, it won't silence you. If you post a link, it'll silence you. And if you say see you next Tuesday, it will also silence you. We have not undone that. No. All right. Which honestly, to be fair, while I've been playing games on Saturday nights, people will come in and post links, and Nightbot shuts that shit down. I'm like, thank you, Nightbot. You're doing your job. It's nice. Yeah. It's not like we just get a bunch of spam, but it's cut it out. It's just any cunts that come in, we cut it right out. That's right. Nightbot doesn't shut this shit down. That's right. Because I control you, Nightbot. But come join our Discord server. We hang out. We have fun. It's active. It's silly, and we play games, man. It's fun. It's really great. It's really fun. So come hang out with us there. We have merch, but stay tuned.
because we have a goals meeting tomorrow night, and that's on my goal list for early, very quick in 2021 is transfer that shit over. Dip Nippy 17, hello, welcome back. Good to see you. Welcome back to the stream and welcome back to the podcast, my friend. Good to see you.
Doug, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, your nickname in high school was Dip Nippy, wasn't it?
It was. It's because very long areolas, like really, really, really long.
And
like
you would go to parties and you would go to like the dean's French onion dip. Every time you would lean over to do that, especially if it was like you could party after a swim meet or something, shirt was off, the areolas right in the dip.
And what it turned into was how many things can I dip my nipples into? And it became the game of Dip Nippy. You know,
that's
so like,
fun.
It's like, hey, y'all for some Dip Nippy tonight? It's like, yeah, boop, into the punch.
So was it just
into the dip.
You playing, or did multiple people have long
I mean,
nipples?
I just had the longest nipples, but the thing was, I would always shout, "Who's ready for some Dip Nippy?" And no one would ever say anything, but I'd play because you know what? I didn't have a crew. I didn't have a squad to game with, but I do now, and that's what matters, you know.
Which is why you haven't played Dip Nippy in like basically in all of 2020.
That's right.
No.
Yeah,
I like that.
And you all got a shot of the old nippies a few episodes back, so
you can go back and watch. He's not messing around. Those nipples are. You could do pull-ups on those nipples.
That's right, you could, and it would feel wonderful to everyone involved.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we will be. One of our goals is to get the fuck away from Teespring and go somewhere else as soon as possible. So stay tuned. It exists on Teespring, but fuck those guys. And lastly, I mentioned it already, but we do have a live stream video game. Let's try that again. We do have a video game live stream every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central. Play a variety of games, and I'm not sure what we're gonna play this Saturday. I'm kind of open, but last Saturday was a fucking blast. We played Left 4 Dead 2 again, one of my favorite games, and we got a full 4-on-4 versus game. I haven't done that in forever. Like, it was so good. It was so much fun. I had an absolute blast, and it was really cool. So be sure to check that out Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time. Twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. Come hang out. Come play. Whatever. Like, you're welcome. Come join us. Come
Have we
be
figured
cool.
out when we're going to do another D&D?
I was going to text you guys today, since now we're in the new year, and see when we're going to go back into the dungeon. So hopefully it will be very soon, within the next couple of weeks. We'll do continuation, I think, of is it Adventure 5 or 6? 5.
I think it's 5. I think
you're right. That's right, because you guys got to deal with all the you guys whoop some monsters' asses, and now you got to deal with the rest of the level, figure out what's going on. So, So, that's all of our housekeeping. Let's get to it, man. Let's talk some turkey. Let's talk about
gobble gobble, bitch.
That's right. And speaking of gobble gobbling, let's talk about New Year's resolutions. What are you?
Have a turkey sound effect. Anyway, one of my New Year's resolutions is to get a fucking turkey sound effect. That's right.
I mean, I'm not surprised you don't have one. I mean,
I feel like that was low hanging fruit that I missed.
Dip Nippy, yes. I mean, I'd be willing to play some Fortnite, maybe. Yeah. So if you want to play along with us, for sure, that'd be great. Yes, Jervis, you typed in cunt, and it did flag it, and I did allow it. So you're welcome.
Congratulations. We're not Aussie blocking you anymore.
Yeah, right. That's good. That's all good stuff. So New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
I think we may have talked about this before, but I'm not big on New Year's resolutions.
What's happening over here right now?
I don't know, but
Jared probably just tried to write cunt 20 times, and then my Nightbot said, "I'm sorry, did I break your concentration? Stop spamming."
What are you doing, Jared? Stop messing with Nightbot, because Nightbot is relentless.
Yeah, Nightbot will kick you out, and if he doesn't, Slotty will.
If this, this is how Skynet gets started. All right, this is how it happens. This is how Terminators happen. Jared says, I used emotes. All right, try using one emote. How about that? Start with that. There you go. See, there you go. There you go. Now you're better. Anyway, I'm not big on New Year's resolutions.
Jared, just keep trying emotes until you get blocked again. So like try 2 and then try 3 and just see at what point does Nightbot go, fuck off, you cunt.
No, it's fine.
So you do or do not like.
I have a hard time with New Year's resolutions, mostly because it's kind of like the same reason why I don't like the Cubs and why I don't like Dave Matthews Band. It's because of the fans of both of those things. Cubs fans, obnoxious. Yeah. Dave Matthews Band fans, obnoxious. Like it's one of those things where when I hear people get on social media and stuff like that, and part of it is, I think it's good, right? Hey, it's a new year. Let's let's forge ahead. Let's do something great. Let's set some goals. That's a good thing. But what I don't like is it's the new year. It's time to talk about my resolutions. And it's almost like a springboard for attention. And I'm not a big fan of it. I love reflecting back, like, hey, what did we do last year? What was good and everything like that? And I think it's really great to set goals. I'm bad at setting goals. But it's these sort of
That surprises me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I said that kind of aggressive, like, oh, really?
Yeah, motherfucker. Let's
really?
talk. Let's do this. Yeah.
Let's talk with our knuckles.
So I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you have a hard time setting goals because you are so pragmatic when it comes to like the business side of things and your training and like in that realm of your professional life. I feel like goal setting and like there's some specific kind of feedback that you always talk about.
Mm-hmm. The feedback formula.
That, but yes, the other things that other buzzy words.
Emotional intelligence.
That's the one. So you're so in tune to all that. And I feel like goal setting, using the SMART formula. Did I do it right?
Yeah, it's SMART goals, right?
There it is. Is just, it goes, hand in hand with all that. So it surprises me that that's something that you say that you have an issue with. What do you find difficult about setting goals?
For me, I always look at I look at goals as like these things that are written in stone, right? Like I'm setting a goal and this is how it has to be. And I've slowly learned just recently that goals can adjust, right? So I'm afraid to set a goal that I'm not going to achieve. So a lot of the times I set myself like as goals that are too easy to achieve because I want to make sure that I get them. So I'm really bad with work goals. With like, what do you want to do in 2021? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, my job, but it's like goals should scare you a little bit too. Like there should be a couple of goals that's like, hey man, this is really going to drive you, and you got to do it. And I get scared that I'm going to fail. I'm afraid that I'm not going to meet those goals, and so it's also hard for me to kind of break out of my day to day and look. I'm not a visionary. I'm not a Zack Snyder. Okay, I'm not a visionary person.
Time out. You're not Steve Jobs. You're not Zack Snyder.
I'm not.
What? That surprises me.
I mean, I'm creative, but I can't look at the idea of this is where we are. This is where we want to be 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, 10 years from now. Like I don't know that sort of stuff. I'm very much, I used to hate that in job interviews. It's like, what's your 5-year plan? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Pretty sure I want to have a boat. Tell you that much. Like that's not in the cards. It's one of those things where I struggle to challenge myself because I'm afraid to fail, I think is what it is. And I also just I don't know. When people are like, let's invest in you, man. Let's get you some professional development. What do you want to do? I'm like, what are my options? Give me options. Right. And then I'll do it. But for the most part, I'm always kind of like, I don't know.
So if given a list of options, so you're more of a multiple choice guy rather than an essay guy.
Well, yeah, in that regard, absolutely. I've had people be like, hey, think about what you want to do. Like do some research. And I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Like I have no idea even where to begin, how it goes. I hate it especially when they ask that question at a McDonald's interview. Where do you want to be in 10 years? Hopefully not here, man. Hopefully not here.
Making this special sauce.
I want to graduate to senior burger specialist, you know?
Right.
Because that's what they call that sort of shit, right? Everything's got different.
Burger specialist. Yep. Absolutely.
I really want to get up on my fry game. You know, I feel like my fry game needs a little bit of, you know, it's just, I've neglected it. You know, I don't think I can get it. It's not where it needs to be. So I'd like to spend some time over in the fry area. And honestly, I got to get some reps at breakfast time, you know? I got to get the big breakfast, the hot cakes. It's just, it's not where it needs to be, you know? It's not where it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something else I hate. I really hate really ridiculous job titles. Because also in industries and stuff like that, every industry has legitimate, like, these are legitimate titles, but they're the same job has different names. It drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
When I see something, and then there's the silly stuff. Like Sly just posted master sandwich artist. It's like, that's what they try to call people. It's like, look, I'm not trying to demean people, but let's also just call it what it is, right? Like, you're the sandwich guy, you know?
Ooh, shots fired. Jesus, dude. Easy. We just started the year out.
I'm sorry.
Right?
Sandwich person.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's better. You know?
Jesus Christ.
And then you can graduate to senior sandwich person, you know? So, you know, okay. There you go.
Yep, that's it. So resolutions. We've in the last time we talked about this, I think we said the same thing where neither of us like that new year, new me.
Yeah.
That whole, you know, hashtag new year, new me. Look out, world. It's all going to change this year. Probably not. It's going to be roughly the same, and you might have a few wins. You might also have some losses. So let's just tuck in and get to it, because that's kind of what it is. I'm in agreement with you. I do like the idea of looking at it as a fresh start and saying, okay, like, what are some things I want to accomplish this year? Like, I want to, like, for me, I like setting, again, I'm going to get a six pack. I'm going to hit the gym every day. I'm going to get a six pack, bro. By the summer, I'm going to yada, yada. It's never going to happen. I would like to read 5 books by the end of the year. I don't think that is an unachievable goal. It's more books than I've read in the last 5 years. So I think that it's a market improvement, but it is not an unachievable goal.
Yeah.
I think the things like that, where you're just like, they would make me feel better about myself if I could do this. And it's something that I can legitimately achieve. If I say by summertime, I'm going to have a 6-pack, I know that's not going to happen. Could I do it? Probably. If I hired a personal trainer, spent 7 days in the gym, 4 hours a day, ate nothing but, boiled chicken breast and broccoli, sure, I might be able to achieve that. I know for a fact it won't happen. So why set yourself up for failure?
No, that's the thing, is because those are bad goals.
Right.
Like, if you're like, I want a 6-pack, it's like, maybe you can. That's like, what, 6-7 months away? But how are you going to get there? What is your plan to get there? Because if you say, I'm going to hit the gym every day, what happens when you don't hit that gym? Did you fail? Are you going to feel like a failure? Is it going to completely derail you from what you're going to do? Right. So, it's one of those things where you got to be smart about it. I like reflecting on things because it's so easy to forget about the things that you've accomplished. You know what I mean? Like,
you've talked about this for a while, about marking down as you're going throughout the year things that you've done. Because there's so much that happens. Yeah,
like, for example, we hit 100 followers on Twitch, and I'm thrilled about that.
Yay!
It's so exciting. We've been so close to, we've been just right on the cusp of it for several weeks now. I'm like, someone follow us. I think Dip Nippy, you may have been number 100. So congrats to you, my friend. You are a 100th follower. Thank you so much. Welcome. Yeah. And, when I think about where we started last year, what we were doing, and where we are now, I mean, we have over 25,000 downloads, like lifetime downloads on our podcast, which I think over 11,000 came last year. So huge. We've had a great increase in monthly downloads. We became Twitch affiliates, and we got our first paycheck from Twitch, which was amazing. We did our first ad, like sponsor ad, which was great. That wasn't a fake.
Legitimately forgot about that.
Yeah, like, and those are the things where it's like it's we have a Discord community, like we have we have a good setup now for our streams, like that aren't just a phone in a basement, and us shouting at it. Like it's we've done a lot, we've done so much, and it take a moment to be like, when you think about how we took a break just for a week, and I'm thinking, it can be a grind sometimes doing this. And when you look back and be like, you get lost in the day to day, and then you're like, wait, we've done a lot. Like, are we world renowned podcasters and video game streamers? Good.
Was the answer no? I'm sorry. I don't know that.
But it's one of those things where, we've grown so much and we've done so much, and I'm so happy with how far we've come with that sort of stuff, and it's good to look back on that and be like, great job. And it is a good thing to kind of look forward and say, all right, cool, how do we build on this? Like, what do we do next? Like, what do we want to do? And I do have one goal that scares me that I want to try and do this year, and it scares the shit out of me, but hopefully it'll come to fruition. I also don't know anything about production stuff, so the goal timeline I put together, I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna ballpark it and say,
but you got to start somewhere, though.
Right?
Like, you got to start. You've got to start. Yes, Slotty, it is that. You've got to start somewhere, and I think you have to, when you're making these goals, when you're making these New Year's resolutions, whatever you're calling them, you've got to give yourself leeway to update the timeline, to understand that you're human, and the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. So. Like, you're probably going to hit some speed bumps along the way. It's okay. Collect yourself back up and go, is this goal still attainable? And if not, is there a similar goal that I can hit that would still make me feel like I got a little bit closer to this larger goal?
Because I think the overall goal for this is completion. And I think the timeline with I want to put some sort of deadline on it, because I don't want to just be like, whenever it gets done. I want to pressure myself a little bit to be like, hey, get it done as soon as possible. Like, because I'm holding up the show right now, and I need to move that along. I need to push that along. And if it doesn't get done this year, it's not the end of the world. But at least I'm going to say, I want to get it done this year. Last year it was like, wouldn't it be cool if, and now I'm like, hey, I actually kind of have an outline for something. I now need to refine it, process something, and then we'll see what we can do from there. I think it'd be really, really cool, and that's one of my big things. And also, really big goal is to just get rid of Teespring. That's really what this is, guys. Really, my big goal is to get a fucking merch person that we like.
Yes. Fuck Teespring.
Fuck them twice.
Can we all just agree?
Teespring. They'll flag your content that's yours and say that it's intellectual property violations, and then they won't fix it, and then you'll fill out a counterclaim, and they'll be like, okay, automatic response is good to go. Try again in 24 hours, and you try again. It's like, hey, you're stealing your own shit, aren't you?
Yep.
Fuck 'em. Do we pick up? Yeah, I know. I know. As I'm lifting this up. That's showing there. That's better. You happy?
Yeah.
He's mad that
we also picked up Batman as a sponsor.
And cute Thor.
And Redwoods.
Ta-da.
You got it. Yeah.
What do you got in what you got any goals?
I mean, outside
in general, do you have any goals? You piece of shit.
What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
No. The 5 books. Definitely want to do I want to make sure that I read this year. In general, less screen time. That's kind of what that's the idea of doing 5 books is getting me away from sitting in front of the TV or mindlessly scrolling through either Twitter or Instagram, or pick a social media.
Facebook.
Right. Well, I don't have a problem with that, because fuck Facebook.
Parlor.
That's the one. Grinder. Whatever. But yeah, I think that's the big one for me. It's just less screen time. I would. I'd like to also finish a script, like a feature length script, this year. So we'll see. You know,
That's awesome. That's good, man. That's good. I like that stuff. You know, I think it's similar to me when I see other people's New Year's resolutions as people who post baby bump photos. Like, I just don't care. At the end of the day, don't want to see it. Don't want to hear about it. Like, that's what it is.
If you're doing it again, if you're including hashtag New Year New Me, you've already lost the game. Like, that's that. Speaking of which, anyone listening right now, you just lost the game. And if you know what I mean, you know.
Surprise, motherfucker.
But yeah, like, I feel like if you're doing it out of a, like, again, if it's for an attention grab, if it's, you know, to jump on a trend, if it's a glam thing, that's there. You're probably going to fail because that's probably not something that's really near and dear to what you want to accomplish, to your heart. But yeah, I mean, if it's something that's, if you don't need to shout it from the rooftops, you probably really want to get this thing done and, you know, go after it, get it this year, you know?
Yeah. Part of that is, I understand, is you want to put it out there because you want people to hold you accountable, but I'm pretty sure most of that stuff isn't that. It's, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I would say talk to a small group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you've got like you and Slotty and Drew, like, I would tell you guys, or Beth, I would tell people that that actually mean something to me. I would say, hey, here's what my intention is this year. You know, if you see me not doing it, kick my ass a little bit.
By the way, I'm glad that Beth came fourth in that list. That makes me very happy, because I was first, and then it was Drew, then Slotty, and then Beth. So
actually, Slotty came second.
Slotty came second, then Drew,
which
then
is
Beth.
Typical, because, you know, he's a very giving lover.
He is.
Yeah.
He's got endurance.
I tend to just say who I see, and I see you right now, and that's that.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
But, yeah, I would, if you're putting it to social media, if you're putting it to the giant group out there, you're not doing it to hold yourself accountable. You're doing it to humble brag.
Yeah,
you know,
and nobody likes that.
That's all it is. No one likes that.
Jared. Nobody likes that. Yeah, I love that. Yo, just got a new gym membership. Hashtag New Year, New Me. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's exactly what we're talking about. I mean.
And Jared says, Justin, to everyone except Slotty Doug Drew, you mean nothing to me. Accurate.
He said, you know, we're his tight group, you know? We're his tight four, you know?
Jared, there's no way that you're going to kick my ass from Australia. It just can't happen. If you were closer, Matt from New Zealand, I would have you hold me accountable.
Yes.
So, speaking of holding people accountable, Ben Shapiro.
I was waiting for the sound effect. I was waiting for the transition sound effect. I was like, where is it? There it is. Found it.
Sorry, that was Ben Shapiro in his native language.
Gotcha. Yeah. So there was an article in Deadline that came out that said the Daily Wire, which is the, I don't know, news in quotes company run by Ben Shapiro, makes its first foray into film and TV with school shooting movie called Run, Hide, Fight. And essentially, this movie is about, I'm going to post a link to it in the chat. So if you guys want to watch the trailer,
you can. Fun with
that. Essentially, kind of a rough synopsis of it is there is a young woman in high school who, from what I can see from the trailer, learns how to hunt and take care of herself from her dad. Goes to school one day. There is an active shooter situation with a bunch of other kids. And essentially, she decides not to run or run or hide. She decides to fight. And really what it reminded me of was like a modern day Die Hard, where you've got the every person who's hiding out and fighting the bad guys and everything like that. So I'd say quality wise, it definitely looks like decent quality. It's got Thomas Jane in it, and whatnot. Like it looks like it was filmed well. And
by
for the
decent
record,
quality, you mean it was not filmed on a handy cam?
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen some more conservative based filmmaking, and it looks pretty bad. This was not created by that sort of like group. It was not created by the Daily Wire. It was created by a filmmaker. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and the filmmaker was having trouble selling the rights to it. And then ultimately the Daily Wire picked it up and they purchased it, and they're going to be distributing it on their website and I think on YouTube as well. So, and it's interesting because the filmmaker says in the article that, what's he say? He says, Run, Hide, Fight is ultimately a movie about courage in the face of evil. This is a gut-wrenching film that does not offer easy talking points, which is why liberal Hollywood executives have refused to distribute it. We are proud to work with the Daily Wire as the exclusive North American distributor. The Daily Wire's policy for not publishing the names of mass shooters made it an ideal partner. If this film has a political viewpoint, it's that we should not make terrorists famous. It's the heroes whose names we should remember.
And I think in the trailer, the final line is the female protagonist she's on a CNN type news show. She's also on the phone with the lead
because they're live streaming it.
Terrorist, whoever this kid is. And she says, that's the thing. No one will remember you. They'll remember me. And then, wham.
Yeah.
You got that.
Oh, I got that. Don't you worry.
You got that. Huh. Yeah. So not only are they the talking points in, any interviews that they do, it's actually in the movie.
Yep.
Good stuff. Where do we start?
Yeah, so I don't ever want to shit on someone's art. I've done it, and I do it sometimes, but I don't mean to.
Sorry. It was just a perfect. I don't want to do it. I've done it. I don't mean to, but I've done it.
I've done it. I've absolutely done it. But sometimes my natural reaction is like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right.
Because when I look at this, this is something, my initial reaction is like, I personally don't feel like this movie needs to exist. And the reason being is just that we don't need a movie that takes people through school shootings. Like, we don't need, because also the filmmakers quoted in this as saying, where does he say? We spent years carefully developing this movie in consultation with law enforcement veterans and shooting victims to immerse people into a realistic portrayal of what it's like to experience one of these tragedies. And the way I look at this is, I don't think we need to really give people a portrayal of this tragedy, because this tragedy happens all the time. It's always out there. This isn't the Holocaust was 80 years ago, and I don't know anything what that was like. I wish there was a movie that kind of portrayed what that is. Or, man, what do you think it was like to be a gladiator in the Colosseum? I have no idea. It'd be cool to consult some historians to figure out what that was really like. This shit happens all the time. Like, I don't think we need to put an audience in that scenario. Like, I mean, maybe you can make an argument that there is. Justin, make an argument why this needs to happen. Go.
No. I refuse. I refuse your offer, sir.
I refuse.
Oh man, if you're gonna force me to play devil's advocate, why does this movie need to exist? Because we need to reinforce the fact that the power does not lie with the individuals perpetrating the school shooting. Rather, it lies with those who will stand in the face of evil.
Okay, that's fair. And
God, I feel gross.
Yeah, you feel gross.
I forgot to add.
Because, yeah, I mean, I think at the crux, I believe the filmmaker 100% that at the core of this, we don't need to celebrate school shooters. Like the people that are perpetrating the shooters are not heroes. They're not good. And the people that we should celebrate are the people that stop that. But I think the idea of, we really want the viewers to understand what it's like to go through this. Like, I maybe to some extent you do need that, right? Maybe if this was a situation to be like, we want people to take action. We want people to take legislative action. We want to drive awareness to what it actually is like to be in an event like this, like the fear, the terror. Like maybe there is a connection there. I don't get that feeling based on the article. I think, if you're talking about triggering people, this seems like a giant trigger warning, like for so many people in so many ways. Because I also don't think you need to create a situation where you're creating a revenge fantasy with it. Right. Personally, this is how I feel. I don't think there needs to be a revenge fantasy around something like this. Like I don't think it's the healthiest way to address these, tough questions, or these tough points that the movie is allegedly bringing up. I don't think this is the vehicle in which to do that.
Well, I think I was surprised to learn that the Daily Wire does not publish the names of the school shooters. I was surprised and very pleased to know that, because that's something that I am in full agreement with in regards to. I don't think that we should be giving media coverage to because we're doing what they're looking to. We're making them infamous, and we're giving them notoriety, and we're putting their names out there. And if by burying their names and by bringing up the names of people who were brave in the face of it, I think that's more the right way to go. So in that capacity, yes. What this feels like to me is very similar to, and I'm blanking on whose fucking movie it is now.
Michael Bay.
Yes, it was TMNT. It feels very similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the sense that Krang, right? Brain, follow me. No, I can't remember who made the movie. It's coming out. It's about the pandemic, basically.
Oh, like actually, that is produced by Michael Bay.
No,
it is.
You're shitting me.
You're the one about the people are sick and the government comes and takes them away.
Yes.
It's produced by Michael Bay. It was a joke that was true.
That's so perfect. So that fucking Michael Bay. No, I think it, because we had joked about, not joked, well, I kind of joked about, but we had talked about at the beginning of this on the podcast, who's going to be the first person to take a swing at making a movie about the pandemic, and is it going to be too soon? Because remember the first movie that we had about 9/11? I feel like it came decently after, and it still felt like, ugh, are we allowed to do this?
Yeah, because it seems like you're trying to cash in on it. You know what I mean?
Right, and that's it. This feels like, this is a trigger point. No pun intended. This is a trigger topic for a lot of people, and it's very, very sensitive. And in making it an action movie like this, and kind of really blowing out the good versus evil elements of it, and making the bad guys like bad, and making the good guy or good girl, super good. Like, it just feels like you're exploiting it for the sake of the dollar. And you're like, oh, I know this genre works, and I know that this topic gets people talking, and those who are pissed off at it are going to see it as well because they want to argue it. And so it doesn't feel like you're genuinely trying to put a good message out there, you know? And also, I legitimately wonder if this is going to cause, more people who are of the mindset of like, what's the thing they say that people with guns stop people, or
only the way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
He's a good guy with a gun, right? I'm wondering if people who subscribe to that mentality, the next time a mass shooting, if they're going to try to, because in the trailer we see she escapes the school. She has this aha moment of her dad, who's ex-military, telling her something about like, we don't run or whatever. She goes back into the school, grabs a fire extinguisher, and takes down her first villain. And then from there, it's a slow, methodical. She's making her way through the school and picking them off one by one, very much like John McClane.
Mm-hmm.
With Die Hard, it was so over the top. With this, it's so close to home, so real, that I'm wondering if it's going to make people feel like, yes, this is what we need to do. We need more of this.
Yeah,
and
again,
we're trying to be heroes.
That's my fear with it is again, we're sort of glorifying it in a way. We're glorifying the revenge fantasy. And you could probably argue that with a lot of, like, what is it? I think it was a movie that they've remade. It was originally, I think, in the 70s. I want to say it was I Spit on Your Grave. I think that was one of them where, like, essentially, I think a woman is like brutally raped by some guys, and she goes back and like gets revenge on them. Like goes through and essentially like it's a revenge fantasy, and part of it's like I think human nature is justice, right? Revenge and justice. It's like do unto those that have wronged you. But I think with this, it's just such this is a loaded topic. It's a loaded thing, right? It's a terrifying thing that's happening, and oh my gosh, another raid! Castwave Studios. Oh,
thank you
so much for the raid. Oh, man, there's so much love tonight. Thank you so much. So kind. I hope your stream was great. Welcome to the show. We're recording live. Welcome. Thank you so much. Y'all better check out Castwave_Studios. They be streaming some shit. Go check them out. But this topic,
Jared,
I think,
stop
is
spamming.
But some of the folks in the chat, are saying, stuff. Like Slotty says, I kind of feel like the goal of this movie is to inspire legislation to give kids teachers guns based only on who is now associated with it. Fancy Ramen says the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good kid with a gun. Kindergartens.
That is, hold on. That's worthy of well done. That was good.
Malik 132 says a good way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a textbook hiding behind a corner. Oh man, it's yeah.
I think too that I just had a point that I was coming around to. Something about guns. I don't know. I again, for them to say that this is not a politically charged movie, the Daily Wire wouldn't have picked it up if it didn't fit in line with with. It may as well be sponsored by the NRA. Let's just like it. It's
we don't know that. We don't know that.
No, but don't we?
I mean. See, that's the thing is, again, what's crazy?
At the article here, at the end of the article, the filmmaker goes, Run, Hide, Fight is a preview of our plans and the type of movies and scenarios that we will offer in the not too distant future. Like this film, our entertainment content won't be overly political. Again, you know exactly the audience you're going for with this, but it will reflect our values. Our mission is simple. We will make great entertainment that all Americans can enjoy, regardless of their political views. If you're fed up with cultural edicts of our country's self-appointed moral overlords in Hollywood and legacy media, stay tuned. That is, to say that that's not a political statement, come on.
Well, listen,
everything about that's a political statement.
Well, also to address his point where he said, liberal Hollywood executives have refused to distribute it. I wonder fucking why. Like, I wonder why. How? Let's let's step back from a purely business perspective. How the fuck are you going to market and sell this film in your traditional sense, right? Like, how are you going to do that? Like, it's honestly, this is probably the best avenue for it, for the Daily Wire to pick it up and distribute it. That's probably the right fit, honestly, because do you see this in theaters? Do you see this on streaming services? I mean, to a certain extent, from the filmmaker's perspective, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they are truly trying to make something that has questions that it's not easy to answer. I'll give that to them. I haven't seen the film. I'm actually curious to watch it. I want to watch it so I can sort of like absorb it and be like,
I'll agree.
What is this? And you know,
too quick to judgment.
It's like Wonder Woman 84. You know, I was like, I better watch this before I can comment on it. Stay tuned for next week, gang.
Oh boy, we got a special guest coming back next week. Our DC our DC correspondent, which makes him sound like he's our political correspondent in DC.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things where I want to watch this because I kind of want to be able to, you know, absorb the content, because maybe there is something in there. Like, you know, if it's heavy-handed, it doesn't achieve what I think the filmmaker wanted. That whatever, that's my opinion, and that's what I'm going to do. Again, I want to be respectful of someone creating their art, but I also think that this filmmaker has to be realistic in a sense of how. Let's take the liberal Hollywood executives out of that. Let's take that out of the equation. Be like, any business person, how are you going to sell this film? How are you going to do that? This is about a tragic piece of our everyday lives that you're putting out there. And it's like one of those things, like in improv, if you're going to do a scene about Hitler, it better be fucking funny. It better be good. Because if it's not good, then you got a problem. Castwave Studios, thank you for the subscription. Gosh, the love. I'm feeling it tonight. It's so good to be back. If you're going to do something about a school shooting, it better be fucking awesome. It better be poignant. There's not a lot of room for error. So if it turns into a Die Hard-esque, you know, revenge, heavy-handed sort of thing, that I just don't think it lands, in my opinion, you know, and again, I don't know. I'd like to see it to find out, but I don't know. There's something about it that I'm just like, this is a very precocious, that's probably not the right word I'm looking at. It's a very sensitive topic. Yeah, precarious. It's a very sensitive topic. And I think you got to handle it with respect. And I don't think doing a fictional piece is the way to do it. I think you should personally, documentary or doing something that celebrates the people that were actually true heroes in these situations that stopped shooters. Like, let's do that. Let's not make a fictional piece of content that celebrates someone taking down the bad guys. Kind of like it honestly, it reeks a lot of the 90s action films, you know, we're like, we're going to stop those bad guys in a very fantastical way.
The more we talk about it, the more I'm having a hard time, though, with our argument that it's different than a World War II movie or different than I know, yes, there's been far more time away from something like World War II or Gladiators or a movie about slavery or whatever. Like, that's any of the past, horrors that have been around. There's been time, and so maybe we make something to remind people about this so they don't forget it. At the same time, like, you could argue that someone, someone of Jewish descent or someone who's black or someone might go, look, those movies are they incite just as much as this movie does. So
without a doubt,
in fairness, like, if we're going to be okay with those movies, I kind of, to what you're saying, I suppose we have to give this one a chance. There's something. The last thing I'll say about this is there's something in my gut that feels different about this one to me. It feels less, I don't know. It feels like there is a clear motive behind it. A clear, because he said, like, I think Jared, I think, was the one who said it here. It's not political if it's for my political ideals. Like, for them to say, this isn't political, it's just for people who share our ideals. Well, what is that but politics? I mean, that's essentially saying the same thing. So there's just something about this one that feels different. We could be very wrong. This could come out. It could be a resounding success. Maybe it actually is a really good movie and we don't know. It just feels different.
And I'll say this much. I'm not in the business, but I'm willing to bet that there is a lot of gatekeepers to getting stuff made, right? I know that there are, right? And so to say this guy is saying he's fed up with essentially the legacy media, you know me, I've said this before, I like situations that disrupt the norm and the traditions in that sort of regard, because they're not always there for a good reason. But at the same time, I'm like, I think it's pretty nearsighted to be like, my thing is special and no one likes it. They're just liberal Hollywood who just won't take a chance on it. It's like, yeah, but have you also considered the content? Like, It's a business. If there's anything I've learned from cool people like Chris Charles and getting an insight into the business, there's a fucking business behind this. Where are you going to distribute this? Where is this going to go? Is it going to go outside the US? Probably not. I don't know if there's a market for this outside the US. And there's a giant market outside of the US. Like there's a lot of areas to make money. And if you can't sell this abroad, then. But
again, maybe that's not what that may not, like they may be honing in on a very specific market that they want to capitalize. It's in their eyes, what they view as an underserved market. Mm-hmm. And so if they can corner that market in the US, good for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't need to be a billionaire if you can be a millionaire. Like,
that's true.
Billionaire is great, but a millionaire, you still got a shitload of money and you're still doing your message is still getting out there. So
agreed.
I don't know. The other thing that I'm interested in is the fact that they say that they've spent years developing it with, what do they say? Law enforcement.
Yeah. And shooting victims.
Shooting victims and other people of that nature. So if they developed it with shooting victims, law enforcement veterans and shooting victims. So I don't know, maybe they truly did nail the experience and maybe this will actually, here's your devil's advocate. Maybe this film will serve to educate people just how horrific this is. Mm-hmm. And maybe it will help to get legislation moving towards correcting it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Etoy07 in our chat is a school teacher, and he says, in all seriousness, guns in schools are only going to perpetuate the broken gun culture in America. This runs so much deeper than security. And he added, we just did our annual active shooter drill with our masks on and had to prepare for our plans in case of an active shooter while social distancing and wiping down tables we hid under. This must be what Great Again looks like. I think it's a dangerous game. And again, I think without seeing the film, I think they're walking a very precarious line, and I hope it delivers. I hope it delivers on everything that this filmmaker wants. I hope that it asks tough questions that don't have easy answers, and I hope it makes us think. I hope it nails all that sort of stuff. I really do. Because if it doesn't, it could potentially do more harm than good. But I will say this, as soon as I can find it and I can watch it, I will, because I'd like to absorb it, consume it, and take it in and see what it's all about. I don't really want to do it through the Daily Wire. I don't really want to give them my support, so I'm not going to pirate it, but I just want to hopefully find it in a more decent place to absorb it.
And I will wait for you to absorb and consume this and take it inside, deep into you. And then I will wait and see what you say. And then I will make my distinction of whether I should see this. Because, I mean, maybe the filmmaker has good intentions. You know what filmmakers had good intentions? Transition.
Wait, I had something I want to ask you real quick.
Please.
So, I want to put you in a position, because you're a filmmaker. You and Drew are filmmakers, all right? You guys make a feature film, and you guys are looking to sell said feature film. You want to sell this. You want to sell it. There's no buyers. No one's picking it up.
I see where you're going with this. I'm less into it.
All right? Let's say someone like the Daily Wire or Breitbart or someone of that ilk goes, we love your film. We want to purchase those rights and we want to distribute it through our platform. And the money that they offer you is basically enough for you to quit your day job and focus on 2 East 8th, 24/7, and actually could potentially fund several projects and maybe, I don't know, allow you to buy equipment, build a studio, all those sorts of things. Even though you feel like your film doesn't fit that mold, for what it is, the theme and everything, but for whatever reason, this organization goes, I like this. I want this. We want to purchase it. We want to distribute it. Do you take that? And if so, or if not, why?
That's a really good question.
Jared goes, if they're buying, that's when you know you might have made an error.
Jared, you feel me on this, brother. You absolutely, you and I think are lined up very, very similar on this one. My initial gut, without talking to my business partner, my initial gut reaction, without doing the cost benefit ratio, I would be concerned that potentially it could give us the scarlet letter, when in working with other Hollywood entities or other people in the business. Like, is this our only course of sales now? Is through people like Breitbart and Daily Wire and things like that? OAN, like, is this the only place that we're going to be able to sell our shit now? Because if that's the case, that's a super hard pass, because I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves like that. Now, on the flip side of that, if we make something, I would like to think that, I keep going back to what Jared said now, because if they're buying, we made an error.
What have I done?
Because I would say that I would like to think that Drew and I would never make something that we would consider appealing to anyone from that crowd necessarily, or anyone anything that that's not appealing to them. We would not be making anything that panders to that crowd. They might like what we do, but it's nothing that's going to be like, here's your ideals served you on a silver platter. We would never do that. If for whatever reason they wanted to purchase that, and it was something we were proud of, maybe.
And they're like, we're solely distributed it through our Breitbart website or our Daily Wire website. Like, that's the deal. Like, it doesn't go to theaters, it doesn't go to streaming. It's solely done through their website.
Honestly, no. I would still say a hard no. Because just at the end of the day, it comes down to integrity for me. Like, integrity over money. They say everyone's got a price. I don't know if they offered us, $100 million for it, that would be really, really hard to turn down.
Right? I mean, that's life changing. Really, that's life. Even if it's $1 million, that's life changing.
Even if it's $1 million,
100,000, that's life changing. Like, for the company.
Right. But that being said, at this point, not actually staring at a check written out to me for $1 million, I would say I would pass. Now, you put a check in front of me that's made out to me for $1 million, I might hesitate. It might be a slightly different conversation. I might have to take it back and think and sleep on it. Mm-hmm. But right now, if you were to ask me, I would say I would not sell to them, and it would be more so for longevity and more so for integrity. Yeah. I don't think I could live with myself knowing that they own this movie now and that people have to go support that site in order to see our thing, and that other people because mob mentality on the internet, right? Like, people see that. Again, we're assuming the filmmakers are in bed with Ben Shapiro and are all the same. We immediately went there, so there's no way that I want my name associated or my company's name associated with that side of it.
Well, it's a partnership, right? Like, you're basically, and if you don't, agree with your partner, or you don't subscribe to their ideals, it's probably not a good fit,
right.
It seems like in this sense that this filmmaker and the Daily Wire have similar principles, or at least it's a partnership that they both enjoy and they can get on board with, because otherwise someone would be like, nah, fuck that shit. So definitely, I think that makes sense, right? Like, it's not enough to just get that check, because it's like the idea of like, do you want your art to be seen? It's like, we made this thing. Oh, it'd be great to sell it. But a buyer comes along and it's like, is this how I want it to get seen? Is this really what you want? And, that's a tough situation.
Castwave Studios says we all need a little integrity.
Damn right. You know
Could
what I mean?
not agree more.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jared says, that's true. I'm already thinking less of Thomas Jane for being in this film. The Punisher didn't already kick that off for you? This film to do that?
Hey, man, he's done some cool stuff since The Punisher.
The Mist. Name another one.
The 1921 he did on Netflix, based on the Stephen King story.
Never heard of it. Doesn't exist. Name another one.
That's a Doug response.
I like the Punisher film.
Jesus Christ, Jared. Yeah, that and Superman Returns. It's a double feature, you know? Oh, my God. Ugh.
Yep. God damn it. We walked right into that.
Fuck me, slutty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Sorry. Do it one more time.
Fuck me, slutty.
Right.
I'd put my dick in Wes.
And that's been your Jared soundbite.
God.
Next topic.
That needs to be the transition time. Speaking of filmmakers with integrity, how about putting Luke Skywalker right into The Mandalorian? Spoiler alerts.
That's also a Doug move right there. I mean, we could probably dedicate a whole episode to this, so we'll have to probably keep this relatively quick. But
we'll keep this top level shit.
I'm glad you like the farts, Castwave Studios, because we got lots of them. Spoilers, you cunt. Yes, you're right. So in case you guys don't know,
do you have Twitter? If you don't know about this already.
So essentially, Mandalorian season 2. My overall review is it's fine. The Mandalorian's fine.
I enjoyed it. It was fun entertainment to me.
Yeah, it's fine. It's better than most Star Wars stuff, but I'm not in love with it as much as some of my other friends and other people that I know. It's fine. It's just fine. I realized that I've fallen so hard out of love with Star Wars that it takes more than that to just, like, I don't know. It was enjoyable. It was good, but I could give a shit about Boba Fett, man. I could give a shit about Boba Fett. I was so pissed off when they introduced him, and I was just like, I don't give a shit about the book of Boba Fett. Like, I was telling you this the other day. I rewatched the original series with Natalie just so she could see it, and I watched Boba Fett in that series. That guy doesn't do a goddamn thing. He's completely worthless. He doesn't do anything worthwhile. He tracks Han Solo. That's it. And then he takes a couple of shots and misses. Like, it's no good. And then you watch him just beat wholesale ass in a couple episodes. I'm like, where was this in episode 5 and 6 when he was on Jabba's little palace floating fortress? He didn't do a goddamn thing. Like, in this, he takes out several squadrons of fucking stormtroopers by himself with like a beaten stick and bludgeons them to death. But when he had all of his shit juiced up and ready to go, he wasn't able to do anything. And then they're like, you know what else? He's going to get his own show. It's like, fuck off. Fuck you. Fuck you. But the spoiler alert, the reveal of Luke Skywalker in the final episode, it was, I mean, of course, you know, it's something that shows up, and I'm like, of course, because what other Jedi would show up at this point in time? Who else is left alive? Like, it's got to be him. And
look, we could go back down again to, like, there are other. Well, I was talking with. There's part of me that wants to save the bulk of this conversation. We can do a half and half.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he's also super into Star Wars too. So, but one thing that I thought they could have done is, because he looked like absolute dog shit CG. That was just horrid.
You're talking about Luke Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker, yeah. Why not just have Mark Hamill, appear in present day as a Force ghost and say, "Hey, guess what? I died in the future. I'm a Force ghost. I can space and time mean nothing to Force ghosts." So he just shows up. It would have made more sense. It would have made just as much sense as anything else.
You know what would have been even cooler? How about this? It's a different Jedi we've never seen before.
Thank you. Or bring that, what's her name?
Ahsoka?
Rosario Dawson. Bring Rosario Dawson back in and say it was a test, and I will train him.
Mm-hmm.
How cool would that be? And you got a badass training sequence with her.
Castaway Studios goes, what's Hollywood's obsession with de-aging? I don't know, man. Like,
thank you.
I mean, people were talking about how Sebastian Stan would make a good-looking young Mark Hamill, and they did some mock-ups of him in like Luke's, black like garb, I'm like, yeah, man, just get a different actor. Like,
yeah,
it's not like, you know, Mark Hamill. I mean, his voice was there, but the lines were so few. It's not like he actually did all the combat or anything like that. You know, there wasn't something about him. You know, first Irishman down this. No shit. The studios, we have the technology. Everyone else, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Because I think if I'm not mistaken, there was a YouTuber who did a better job of de-aging than the actual studio did.
On
again,
both The Irishman and this episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't, it was a deep fake. Slotty, hear me out. Mace Windu's younger brother, played by Michael B. Jordan. I'm down for Michael B. Jordan in anything. Like, yes, without a doubt. That. Like, I would be down for that. Like, double purple lightsabers.
Yeah. But again, like, it just, there was so, it happened, and there's a small part of me, like in the back of my head, I was just like, oh, cool. Luke Skywalker's here. Like, that's, of course, that's fun. But then I immediately jump back into our conversation that we've had a gazillion times on this show of why do we need the Skywalkers in everything? It's a very large galaxy. Mm-hmm. It's a gigantic galaxy.
Of course.
We've already tied it back in. Have all these other things that have tied it back. We have another Yoda race being that has been the through line for all of this. So that's tied in. We brought back we brought back Lando in season 1, didn't we?
No, Lando wasn't in it.
No. Who did we bring back? There's someone else we brought back in season 1.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, we've already tied shit in. We got Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett's in there.
We don't need anything else. Yeah.
I don't know. I just look at it as great. Something else we have to explain in fucking Luke's past. That he had this Yoda-like creature at some point in time. Between episode 6 and episode 7, he was doing something with Grogu, like, and we will have to tell that story at some point in time. Hooray! I mean, it was a cool moment because I had literally just watched Rogue One the night before with Natalie, and so the parallels between the Darth Vader scene and the Luke scene were very much, they were extremely similar. And just these two powerful characters at the height of their powers, just kicking ass, taking names. It was very enjoyable to watch. And I think, I mean, it was a neat moment to be like, oh, it's Luke Skywalker, but the same thing. I was just like, God, why does it have to be Luke? Like, can it be anything else? Like, just, it was just kind of disappointing again, because it's just all this incestuous, just same timelines, all the stuff. It's like, because of course, you know, they were at Tatooine at one point, because they had to be. Because fucking Tatooine is the coolest planet. It's like saying, you know, you're going to go hang out in the bayou in Louisiana, and all the most important people in the world pass through this one small town in the bayou of Louisiana. It's like, this is like Gator country, man. This is like where people go to dump bodies and get malaria. But the most important people in our history over the last, I don't know, 60 to 80, 100 years have passed through or hang out or live in or do some sort of deal in this bayou village. And it's like, this is a remote outer rim planet that everyone fucking goes to. Why? Like, why does everything have to happen on Tatooine? I'm fucking sick of it. There are other planets. I'm so happy to see other planets. But we keep going back to Tatooine, just like we keep seeing the fucking Skywalkers. God damn it. Play the song. Play the fucking song.
Stuff is stupid. Stuff is dumb. Doug hates stuff.
Oh, Billy Williams was in Rise of Skywalker. That's where he showed up. I knew he made a comeback in one of the. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. For some reason, I had it in my head that it was in season 1 of Mandalorian. That's the other thing. All of these run together.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be more. You've got
there's going to be more.
The Book of Boba Fett.
They're all going to take place on Tatooine.
We're going back because we're doing an Obi-Wan show.
Right. No, I agree with you. Like, it is, Tatooine is just the. It's bumblefuck, you know, it's the bumblefuck planet of the galaxy. It's gross. It's got marauders. It's like, it's where thieves hang out. it's gross. Why
it's
are we
a
there,
lawless land that is somehow really fucking important. Like, what resources does it have?
Which is where all of our fun characters come from.
Ugh. Like, what resources does this planet even have? They've got moisture farming. Like,
right. They got blue milk.
Gaswave Zeus goes, I'm Ray. Ray Star Wars. I'm glad you're here, Castwave Studios.
You're gonna fit in.
You're welcome here. You are always welcome here. We like you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I know. I know. I'm just glad we got a chance to play Doug Hates Stuff.
Yeah. I was like, it needs to happen. It definitely needs to happen. For sure.
We're starting the list out. Tatooine.
Stuff is stupid. Stuff is dumb. Doug hates stuff.
Onions.
Stuff is stupid. Stuff is dumb.
We're just gonna go down the list.
Just keep it going.
Ben Shapiro.
Stuff is stupid. Stuff.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I love it.
Oh, wait, I got one more. Throwdown.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
Oh, baby. We made it. First Throwdown of 2021. Can you believe it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it so much.
I got to start putting ice in this. I don't want to. It starts melting, and then I take a big swig, and then it's just going to shred it into the microphone. That's very unprofessional.
It is very unprofessional, you dumb fuck.
Very unprofessional.
God.
Ice in Justin's glass.
Stuff is stupid. Stuff is dumb. Doug hates stuff.
All right.
I will haunt your butt.
Is what the ghosts of Tatooine say.
Is what the ghosts of Tatooine say. I love
That's
it.
what Force ghosts do.
They haunt your butts.
Yep. Anyway. So today's Throwdown. Douglas, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Today's Throwdown is the mighty Zeus versus the mighty Odin.
Real quick, how did we get through an entire Star Wars talk and never use the Jabba? How did we not bring that up?
You know what? Let's just shut this down and start over.
Yeah.
We did it wrong.
Hey guys, welcome to Mind Games. Wait, oh man, it's been too long.
Oh my God. We have so many things at our disposal.
Zeus versus Odin.
So this is a mythological throwdown. Okay.
I got something else for this. Where's it at?
You got it.
Oh, wait, where'd it go? Here we go. Zeus versus Odin. On the lightning.
Let's do it. So it's the mythological. It's the king of gods from each pantheon. Zeus,
right,
on the Greek side. Odin on the Norse side. It's a clash. Titans.
I see what you did there.
I'm not happy that I said that. So
let's start with Zeus.
So let's break this out. I'm going to throw a prediction out there for y'all.
What are the Yes.
So you all make your predictions.
Fill of the tape. What do we got? So as we're going down here, Zeus has, well, he's one of the big three. He has the ultimate powers a god can possess. So massive strength, incredible physical prowess. He's able to lift and hurl entire mountains at his enemies, and I'm sure that's when he's sleepy. He probably can do even more than that. He's got battle prowess. He's got height manipulation.
He's got battle prowess.
Yep. He can, he's good at battles and throwdowns. Height manipulation, he can grow. He's like Ant-Man. He can get real big or real small. So he's all right. So he's got Hulk strength. He's got Captain America battle. He's got Ant-Man size. Atmokinesis. As the god of the sky, he's absolute control over the weather. Cool. So he's got storm abilities. I'm sure he's got Jubilee abilities. He's got super sight, chlorokinesis, knowledge of planets. So he's got He also got ice and power.
Yeah.
He's got madness. That's good. Probably from chlamydia. He's got justice. Yeah. He's got shape-shifting, transfiguration, teleportation, control of animals, and I'm sorry, the last one on here is entertainment skills. So he can do a mean soft routine.
The guy, well, man, you come over to eat at Zeus's house, he will entertain the shit out of you. Like he's got it. You know? He's like, check this. I'm doing a pancake. I'm gonna flip it. Wow! Breakfast for dinner. You're welcome. Here you go.
Putting on the Ritz. Yeah.
I love it. Putting on the Ritz.
So, all right, I love that. So, Odin. What does Odin got there, Dougie?
So you know he's the Norse guy. He's got one eye. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know where you saw the powers on these things, even though I was the one that linked this in here.
If you,
I'm like, I don't know.
In the content section, if you go down to abilities.
Okay. Where we at? Oh, okay. He's got divine. Because here's also something to consider. Are we talking straight, just quote unquote textbook mythology? Are we talking Marvel universe? Are we talking like which one are we referring to? Because
I feel like we have to go with textbook because we have not seen Zeus in Marvel, so there's really no comparison.
Because Zeus does exist in the Marvel comics, but we haven't seen him on the screen yet.
He
does, yes. So
okay, as his own entity, his own superhero.
Yeah, like
is he in the god tier of superheroes?
He is. Like he and Odin are like just like Odin kind of runs Asgard. Zeus obviously oversees the Greek pantheon in that universe as well. So,
are they friendly? Or are they
they've had. I mean, I think they kind of get along. They're part of. I think it was called the God Council or Council of Gods, and
that makes sense.
They there's been like if you go that route, I think it's Odin. Because Odin has incredible powers like the Odin Force and stuff like that, which I think far out exceeds whatever.
You're talking about the Marvel.
Yeah, the Marvel universe, I would put Odin in the comics because he's pretty powerful. So reading off here, so we've got abilities. We've got he's the All-Father, the one responsible for slaying the giant Ymir. He's an immensely powerful god whose power and authority is respected through the 9 worlds. He has divine wisdom. He's one of the wisest gods of all. He sacrificed his left eye for incredible perception and understanding. He gained insight into the fabric of reality itself and later helped him discover runes and use them as magic. Mystiokinesis, so he has control and divine authority over magic. Shape-shifting, similar to Zeus. Ooh, Justin, poetry.
Very similar to Tai Chi, a very underrated ability.
Gain the ability to speak and write beautifully and persuasively. It is said that he occasionally distributes to certain gods, humans, and other beings he deems worthy, such as William Shakespeare.
Aaron Sorkin.
There you go. Odokinesis, I thought this was Odinkinesis, but it's Odokinesis. Like, as the god of war,
the same thing.
As the god of war, he has control over the elements of war, including emotions like rage and anger. That's interesting.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Telekinesis. Odin has absolute control tell him. Absolute control and divine authority over weapons. Interesting. Necromancy. Ooh, he has a divine authority over death and the dead. He's somewhat related to the heroic and mysterious side of death.
As the god of magic, as the god of war, as the god of death, as the god of divination. Come on, how many? Odin, pick a lane.
Hey, he's the leader of the Asgard. You know, of the Norse gods. He's got to have all this stuff, right? God.
I mean, look. You know what he doesn't do well? He does not. He does not disseminate work to other gods.
He doesn't.
Right? He's
god of divination. So
why am I blanking on the what's it called in
business? It's your favorite word. Delegate.
Synergy?
Oh,
thank you. Delegate. Yes, he does not delegate well.
No, he doesn't.
Alacrity? He doesn't alacrity well?
He's the god of divination, so he has the power to gain knowledge, awareness, and wisdom through magic and might be able to see into the future, past, and present. So he also has his spear, Gungnir. It's apparently very, very powerful. So what I find interesting about Odin because I did a little bit of extra research today too, is that he kind of going along with Itoi. Zeus has 2 eyes. Done. I think you know who else has 2 eyes? Each of Odin's ravens. Also good point, Jared. I think with Odin sort of is also associated a little bit with in the sense of not necessarily mischief, but his cunning ability to misdirect. And he does hoard power in a sense, which is why I think he holds so many mantles. Whereas Zeus is more straightforward and sort of like gives power to others. But I seem to, my opinion, I'm more in the Odin camp than the Zeus camp from the sense of shocker. I think that Zeus is obviously powerful. They both have fought very powerful creatures. Like Zeus has imprisoned the Titans, while Odin fought his father, the giant, and slayed him. So they have both accomplished the ability to take on large and powerful foes. But I think just with Odin's knowledge of battle and war and his ability to control that stuff, to control the emotions, whether or not they would work on Zeus is definitely debatable. But I feel like he would have a better understanding of battle and combat than Zeus, and I think that gives him an edge. Yes, both have daddy issues. You're correct.
Interesting. I'm just kind of going back through Zeus's thing here, because I blitzkrieged a couple of them and I didn't really well, if Zeus has madness as an ability, you know, Odin being able to control thoughts and stuff might not really help. Oh fuck! Let's see.
I love his best was chlorokinesis. Zeus caused the earth to grow several magnificent fields of flowers. He also is the god of justice and honor, and I don't know if that necessarily helps him.
His jokes, the entertainment skills. Zeus singing is said to be as clear as the streams of Mount Ida, and his
satyr jokes.
His jokes were outrageously hilarious. So he might be able to make Odin laugh himself to death.
Yeah. Also, I read that the dwarves' ability in the world of Asgard, their ability to craft weapons far exceeds anything that Zeus and his folks would be able to create.
Interesting. Okay. You know, I just based off of look, Zeus, I understand someone in the chat brought off that Zeus is immortal, whereas Odin in Ragnarok is supposed to actually die, so proves he is mortal. He has mortality,
but under once certain triggers are met. That's the thing,
right? So,
and if Odin can, sorry, I'm cutting you off. You go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If Odin has divination, he could potentially see the past, the present, and the future.
Yeah.
Use that to his advantage.
You know, I based off of all this, I understand, you know, he can to 100 feet tall. I that's great. But you know, Odin has poetry. And to me, you know, that's the language of death. So he wins.
Ooh, I love it. And right now we're currently looking at, as far as the predictions, we've got 86% saying yes, Odin would beat Zeus in a throwdown, to 14% saying no.
Ooh, I would love, have we been, I'm looking through the chat real quick. Yeah, is a definition more useful than a scroll? I would just love to hear those who voted for Odin in the chat. Go ahead and pop in why real quick. And anyone listening on to the actual podcast, hit us up on our social medias and tell us who you think and why. Because I find this throwdown to be really cool. I've got to say Odin though. I think we're doing Odin for the win.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, I agree.
The fact that he has what is it? Control over war.
Yeah.
Like, and even though Zeus is nutso, that includes rage and anger. Even someone who's crazy has rage and anger. So Odin I think he's just, he outmatches Zeus.
I would say it's definitely debatable as to whether or not these abilities work on Zeus, but I think with what he has in his abilities,
in his arsenal,
in his repertoire, in his war chest, in his armory, Odin for the win!
The All-Father. Well done.
Well done. For the record, I don't know why it said 86%, because it was just Jared voted for Odin and Itoy voted for Zeus. But I think it's because Jared wagered more. So
that's my math.
So congratulations, Jared. You just won 70 channel points. Way to go. Probably 10 because you put in 60 into the pot and Itoy only put 10. So there you go. You got 10 really at the end of the day.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was great. That was so much fun. Gang, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This was so good to be back. It's nice to chat with you and all that good stuff. Justin, what do you got to recommend this week for all these fine folks?
So I watched so many things over the holiday break and over our time off that it was hard to whittle it down. But what I'll recommend this week is The Way I See It, and it's the Pete Souza documentary. He was the White House photographer, the chief White House photographer under Reagan and under Obama, and it's really fascinating to hear someone. It's a position that you don't often hear people talk about, and to hear someone who had unbridled access to both of these presidents talk about what they were like and what the job was like, and just being one of the most important photographers in the country for that time period. And to see some of the pictures that you've never seen of these presidents, it's a really cool documentary. So I would just say The Way I See It. It's a Pete Souza documentary. Currently, I think it's on Peacock, which is free. It's ad supported, but it's free. You might be able to rent it elsewhere, but check it out. Dougie, what do you got?
I'd recommend Pixar's Soul. Available now on Disney Plus at no additional charge, mind you. I thought for sure I'd have to purchase that to watch it, but it was great. We watched it as a family, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's beautifully animated. The music in it is great. It's a really cool story. I really enjoyed it. So check it out. It's on Disney Plus now. Recommend it. It's a good show. It's got the Pixar quality to it. So
yeah,
I
will say that I'm curious. I loved it. I'm very curious who their intended audience was, because I definitely think that it is much more mature, or it is tailored to a much more mature audience than your typical Pixar movie.
I think it's one of the. Well, I mean, come on, Pixar has death all over the place. What are you talking about?
But the concepts that they were rolling with in this one are real, like, thinker concepts.
I looked at it as it's one of those things where the kids can enjoy it for what it is. There's some silliness, there's jokes, there's amazing visuals and things like that. But yeah, the content's heavy, heavy stuff. More so,
like, this was in line with Up, but like past Up.
Yeah,
it was definitely. I've never seen a Pixar movie tackle anything like this before. These heady, like this conceptually tackle anything like this. So I'm very curious when they were pitching this, like, who they thought their true target audience was.
Yeah.
Still a great movie, but unlike any other content wise, like any other Pixar movie I've seen.
Yeah, it was really good. I think it was really, really good. You should check it out.
Yeah.
You should also check out Mind Gap on all your social medias, on your Facebooks, on your Twitters, your Instagrams, on YouTube. We've got our channel over there too, where we post all of our episodes there, as well as highlights from our streams. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. You can come hang out with us when we record our episodes live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central, and come hang out with us while we play video games Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. You can play along with us if you have the game. If not, you want to hang out, shoot the shit, you can do that. And don't forget to join our Discord community. Hang out with us. Chat with us. Post your memes. Post your stuff. Come hang out. Play games with us. It's cool. You can also find Justin digitally as well.
That's true on Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on
Spotify,
on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Podbean, all the places where you can find and consume the old podcasts. Share us, like us, subscribe, rate, review, all those things. The big one for us is sharing. Copy the link to an episode that we post out there and send it out to your social medias and say, hey, everyone, I think you guys should listen to these knuckleheads because they're funny and they're wholesome. And they say cunt very infrequently. So send us to your grandmas. They like that.
We're a worldly podcast.
Exactly. Your grandmothers like us, especially if they're Australian grandmothers.
Yeah.
And 2east8th.com. Yeah. 2east8th.com/mindgap. And then just keep an eye on all of 2 East 8 stuff. We just released a new blog this week, a new blog post highlighting some of the top women in the Chicago film scene. And we're very excited to feature some really badass female filmmakers. So please go check that blog out. And then I'm going to here's a resolution for you, Doug. Before the end of the year, Sid Penrose is coming out. So
can't wait.
Before 2022, you guys, you can hold me to that.
Fucking thing's coming out, y'all.
I've never lied to you before.
Never. You haven't lied. Never. You were honest every step of the way. Complications, baby.
True.
Complications. Well, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, a very sincere and profound thank you.
And to all of our Twitch folks, thank you.
And listeners, thank you.
And remember, have yourself a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.